So look, one of the questions I always get asked is where to invest in South Africa. Now, it's a very good question because it might be that you're starting out in property. And where do I go? Joburg, Cape Town, Durban. Let's just say Joburg as an example. But where in Joburg, and why in those areas? Because what you don't want to be doing is buying in an area where the property prices and the area is actually going down slowly. And you might not see it right now, but once you do your research, you'll find that trying to fill houses, collect rents, manage rents is a nightmare. For example, at the moment, what I'm personally seeing in areas like Yeovil, in fact, McDonald's is closing in Melville. Now, whenever I look for an area to invest, what am I looking for? I'm looking for, hey, if McDonald's moving in, if Starbucks coffee's moving in, if these big brands are moving into an area, what does that tell you? Because I can tell you one thing, McDonald's, Starbucks, all these big brands, Burger King, before they put their store, they've done their research on the area. They know that there's footfall. They know that it's going to be an area where they can do business. But I'll use Yeovil as the example. The fact that McDonald's is moving out in 2025 speaks 1,000 words to me. There's a reason why McDonald's are moving out. And I've spoken to a few of investors. In fact, on our professional membership group this month, someone posted, hey guys, I'm looking at Yeovil as an area. Do you have any experience? Anybody with experience should I invest there? Because the numbers look great, because the property prices have stayed low. In fact, they've dropped in certain areas and the rents look high on paper. The question is, and I always talk about this on my 2-day workshops, I say to people, look, yes, we will make decisions based on our calculators. We'll run gross yields, return on investments. But remember, sometimes the figures look good. The returns look good for the wrong reason, if you know what I mean. We're making a decision where to invest in South Africa. It's not just about the numbers. It's about the area, the neighborhood, what's happening in the area. So let me rather give you some tips as to which area should you look into and why. Because first of all, you watching this, your strategy might be flipping. It could be that you're looking to do buy-to-let or student accommodation. And depending on the strategy will depend on the area. That's what I call SAP, strategy, area, property. What's your strategy? Let's say student accommodation as an example. I've got a client right now that's come through our workshop and coaching, and they want to do student accommodation. So we're looking at the Western area. You know, that's an area that's close to your universities. This is called a WITS, UJ, and it's an area where there's going to be demand for students. So if there's a demand for students, the next thing to identify is take Western or take one of the areas around WITS University and do some area research. What do I mean? Well, download a TPN report. What type of tenants are renting? What's the likelihood of collecting rent from those tenants? Obviously, student accommodation is slightly different because if you are working with NSFAS, they'll pay you. But a little tip there, remember with NSFAS, if you go down the student accommodation route, you might only get paid in April, May, June, July, August, who knows. So a little tip there when it comes to student accommodation, you're going down NSFAS route, don't expect to be paid from day one. And if it's your first time doing a student accommodation, don't expect to be full for the whole year. You might have a good intake. Doesn't mean the students are going to stay for the full year. So just keep that in mind. Coming back to area research, I love when I first find a new area, I want to call a town planner. Hey, Mr. Town Planner, I want to invest in this property and I want to do things like development and even if I don't, I want to do things like multi-let and student accommodation, whatever the case is. Mr. Town Planner, can you talk to me about the zoning and the rezoning and the bylaws? What's happening in that local municipality? How does it work? Is the council looking for more accommodation? What's happening in the area? What's happening with the Gautrain? Are there any McDonald's, Burger King, Starbucks? Are there any shopping centers moving? I want to get a feel. So call a town plan. I want to get a feel for what's happening in the area, if that makes sense. Are they wanting to look whether I use last on a TPN now? Let's have a look at the last 10 years of a specific area. Is the trend going up or down? 3-bedroom properties in specific. I want to know 3-bedroom properties, 3-bedroom freehold properties in the last 10 years in a specific suburb. Choose a suburb and got property prices going up or down. 1-bed flats. Are they going up or they're going down? I want to then understand if I do buy in that specific area, what's the likelihood of filling a property with general working class people? In a multi-let, who's the big employers? If you take Edenville here in Joburg, I know you've got Meadowdale, you've got Sabenza, there's lots of industry around here. We're 15 minutes away from Sandton. You know, there's lots of industry around here. There's working class people that live here in Edenville. There's a very strong demand for rental properties, and there's a high collection rate of rent. Now, that type of data you'll get through TPN, you'll get through Lightstone. So before I go, where should I invest? Ask yourself, what's my strategy? Let's find an area. I'll never tell you exactly what area to invest in because everyone's different appetites. For us, some people love investing in Joburg CBD, right? Some people love investing in places like Hillbrow, and that's for some investors, not for others. So you first got to really work out what you want to get a property strategy. Let's go to the SAPA network to find out, hey, who's investing in areas like Yeovil as the example. Okay, well, no one wants to invest there. Why not? Do your research. Or Edenvale, or the west, or the East Rand of Joburg, or the West Rand. And by doing those type of activities and having those conversations, now I know I found an area where the trend is going up. I find an area with a high collection of rent. I find an area with a good university. I find an area where I can actually subdivide property, build 5 earths without rezoning because they've relaxed the rights to rezone. I find an area with great power team members. That's for me, knowing that I can get a good rent, knowing I can get a good yield from that area. That's the area I want to invest in. I can tell you now, you'll find those areas in Joburg, you'll find those areas in Durban, around South Africa. Obviously, Cape Town's a different conversation. The capital growth versus the rental income you'll get, the gross yields, buy-to-lets are very, very difficult to work in Cape Town. Obviously, your capital appreciation, your Airbnb strategies will work very well in Cape Town, but your little baby buy-to-lets, looking at the cost of an apartment versus the type of rent you're going to get, just ain't going to work. It's just not going to sum up. So if I to sum up, where do you want to invest in 2025? I want you to ask yourself a question before that question. What do I want to achieve for property? What strategy is going to get me there? Is it student accommodation? Is it multi-let? Is it flipping? Is it buy-to-let? And then we're going to look around your suburb and see, does your suburb lend itself to that specific strategy? And if not, depending what you want to invest in, a lot of investors are now investing in the East Rand of Johannesburg, areas like Kempton Park, Edenvale, Benoni, Boksburg. Why? They're getting very good yields, very good return on investments. And that area works. Just think about it. I was taught back in 2005 by the Robert Kiyosaki team, buy properties the average person can afford to buy and rent. So you come to places like Edenvale, Boksburg, Kempton, Benoni. It's great for first-time buyers, great for second-time buyers. We can flip properties in those areas. We can do installment sale agreements. Airbnb works like a bomb around the airport. So it's a section of Joburg, an area of Joburg that we found works for many different strategies, unlike other parts of South Africa. But it may be that you're in Mpumalanga, maybe that you're in Durban. You'll find that there's similar areas, but you have to just conduct what we call your areas research and make sure that it makes logical sense, make sure the trends are looking good, make sure that you're comfortable with the tenant collections and the type of tenant that you're going to get, and just ensure that you get the right managing agents. If you don't have a good managing agent to protect your properties, just reach out to us at Sappin and we'll help you. And listen, subscribe because I've got some more stories to share with you.